Rewind.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the Rewind Podcast, the show that explores TV and film through a queer millennial lens.
Which is really just a fancy way of saying we're two gays with achy knees who watch way too much TV.
Yeah. But hey, my name is Keenan.
I'm Jonah, and today we're covering the series Cross.
The spoiler warnings, bitches, if you've not watched it, pause, watch, and then listen. Or, I don't know, listen and then go watch it and tell us if we're being ridiculous or not.
Unless you like spoilers, then stick around. But yeah, we're definitely not a spoiler-free podcast, so sorry.
Not sorry at all. Like, if you're listening to a podcast with a name of a thing in it, 9 times out of 10, it's going to have spoilers unless it says spoiler-free review. I'm just saying.
It's fair.
I'm just saying. So, Cross the series, the Amazon Prime series, was created by Ben Watkins, starring. Hold on. I was like, whoever cast this show, it was rude as fuck for you to put Aldis Hodge and Isaiah Mustafa on the screen at the same time, looking that fine. I had to break for a little while, like how there was too much fine on the screen at one time, but I was like salivating. Like, my love for Isaiah Mustafa goes back, okay? Like, and then to have him on screen with like Aldis Hodge, like
Your old friend, Aldis Hodge. Tell the people about your history with Aldis Hodge.
At my very first San Diego Comic-Con 3 years ago, I did a roundtable interview for the Green Lantern Beware My Power movie, and Aldis Hodge voiced John Stewart Green Lantern, so I got to sit at a round table with some other creatives from sites and talk to him. But of course, I got there early, and I set because as a photographer, I was looking for the best light for my camera to
As a
be
true
in.
profesh does.
Okay, so I got there early and made sure that I was set up directly across from where he would be sitting. So I was like eye contact with Aldis Hodge, and it was fantastic. And I read that he taught himself French, and so when he sat down, I greeted, I said bonjour, and he was just like, "Oh," and I was like, "Where?" He asked me where I was from, and I was like, "Mississippi," and I was like, "Okay, Mississippi," and I was like, "Oh." It was ridiculous. It was so good. Like, Andy was like, "Keenan, I'm gonna do this for you at your very first Comic-Con. How about I'm gonna let you interview Aldis Hodge?" And I was like, "Thank you, Andy, so much."
It's not often that I'm jealous of you because I think as part of our friendship, we both like celebrate each other's wins and we want to see each other succeed and get the wins. But that is one time I was so jealous that you got to sit that close to Aldis Hodge. Oh God.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let me stop because
Yeah, we need to reel it in.
we got more to go. So Aldis Hodge portrayed Alex Cross, the namesake of the show. Isaiah Mustafa was his best friend, his bestie since he was a kid. Sampson, John Sampson. His kids call him Uncle John. Okay, Juanita Jennings and yes. What?
I said I'd call him Uncle John.
I call him a lot more than Uncle John, let me tell you.
Uncle Daddy.
Like, not Uncle Daddy. Oh my God.
Oh my God, I'm literally flushed right now. What is happening?
I don't know,
I wasn't
but
prepared for this.
you will all see this on the video. For those, wow, what was that laugh? Oh, that was wild. Okay, rope it in. Okay, it was released on Prime Video January of 2023. I didn't realize it was released so long ago. It's really, I feel like it's picked up popularity recently. Like, I mean, we're recording this in December. I feel like what
Yeah.
October, late October, November, like this show was like everywhere. So
Yeah,
I
it
don't
is
was it
weird
like toe
how
to tick
suddenly
or
it's yeah, because now I feel like I'm seeing they had a real hard push for it on Prime. So,
yeah.
wait, did I
They're talking about a season 2, but I didn't I did the lightest of Googles last night. I did not find a release date, but I feel like it has been renewed for a
Oh,
season.
wait. Okay.
Tell me.
So I I I got the information wrong. It was not released on Prime January 2023. I don't even know where January 2023 came from. It was released, it premiered November 14th, 2024.
Okay, okay, so yes.
So
Well,
that
then
makes
that
more sense.
show premiered with, like, a lot of fanfare. They must have put a lot into marketing for this show because
Mhm.
I
It was
feel like it was
everywhere.
everywhere, everywhere. All the articles, people were talking about it. Like, even like, I'm not a super, like, big TikTok girly, but, like, when I get on there, I'll scroll, and I was seeing a lot of
That's where I
cross
saw it. I
stuff.
saw it on TikTok and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I remember seeing this preview before on the streamers and I now is the time for it. Okay, I will
Yeah,
lop this up like a dog right now." And I
yeah.
did.
I did, I absorbed it. I will admit, I had to take a break after, like, 2 episodes because I felt like everyone was making the dumbest of dumb decisions, and it's just so rough dealing with that, and I know when it comes to writing, like, there's just only so many things you can do, and it's like, "Hey,
Mhm.
suspension of disbelief, like, deal with
Right.
it."
They have to
But
make the dumb decisions for there to be like an
yeah,
exciting plot. Yeah. But at the
yeah,
same time, are the logical side of us is like, why? Why?
right.
But
Like the girl
let's talk about that more when we
okay,
get
okay,
into the plot
okay,
because I want to
please.
know who you're referring to. Like, what decisions are you? I have someone in mind. I have a particular like someone, an episode in mind that I'm thinking about that you may also be thinking about. But I'm wondering if we're thinking
Okay,
about the same people.
okay. So, Jonah, give us a little bit of like background on Cross.
Well, based on the New York Times bestselling author James Patterson's number one hero, Cross is a crime thriller series that follows the investigations of brilliant forensic psychologist and decorated DC Metro detective Alex Cross. Together with his best friend and partner, Detective John Sampson, Cross delves into the psyches of America's most insidious killers while fighting to protect his family from the dangers of the criminal world.
Mm. Okay, so mm, Jonah, tell me who did you just find out this was also like what other famed actor shared the name Alex Cross on a film? That was probably the worst way to say that, but you know what I'm trying to
Yeah, yeah, I know where you're
ask.
getting at. Well, I think we both found out at the same time,
Well, no, you
or
told me.
oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I think okay, so I did not realize that Alex Cross was initially portrayed on screen by Morgan Freeman in two movies that I have already seen. I didn't realize that because it's been so long since I've seen them. So Morgan Freeman starred as Alex Cross in the film Kiss the Girls with Ashley Judd that came out in like 1997, I think.
97. Yes.
And then again in the sequel to that movie, and also the title of another James Patterson book, Along Came a Spider. And I don't know why I didn't. I guess because I was younger, I wasn't familiar with Alex Cross or much of James Patterson's work. I would in my head, I was only thinking Alex Cross. Okay, Tyler Perry's Alex Cross, because that's the only other one I'd ever seen that I was aware that I had ever seen on screen.
And I didn't even know that was a thing.
Wait, you didn't know Tyler Perry played Alex Cross?
No.
Really? Wait, when?
Wait,
Like,
wait, wait. Like, I didn't know. When you said there was a Tyler Perry version, like, when you were telling me about Alex Cross also being Along Came the Spider and Kiss the Girls, or Along It Came a Spider. I don't know. I've never seen either one of those movies. Um, uh, neither one. There's a huge chunk of, like, movies from the late '90s, early 2000s that I have never seen, and I feel like since then, I've just, like, doubled down on not caring. And then but now I was spurned. I was like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna go watch these movies for the podcast." And do you know you have to pay for them to stream them? So I
I
was like, "Well,"
noticed.
I will never see Kiss the Girls or Along Came a Spider
I
for this."
don't understand why they make you pay for movies that old, because there's several movies that I've been wanting to see as of late that I've just had a hankering to revisit since my youth, and you have to pay for them, like, to rent or buy. They're not
And
available
I'm
on
paying
streamers.
too much for so many streaming platforms for
Yes.
that to not be available. And I understand how privileged this sounds, and I am checking it, but I am allowed to have my
Yes,
my
absolutely.
my things as well. Um,
That's funny. So what did you think when you found out Tyler Perry, no,
I
having seen Aldis.
I I'm assuming it was in one of his things, right? Like in a Tyler Perry played Alex Cross in a Tyler Perry production of a
God,
James
no.
Patterson book.
God, no.
Or did he just play a character named Alex Cross in a thing?
In a Medea movie?
No, I like so, like, what was his Alex Cross?
Well, so it was it was an attempt to be like to, to for Tyler Perry to have a more edgy role that he had not had before. Because up to this point, the most drama he's ever done has been like in his own movies. And as dramatic as those can be, it's not on the level of James Patterson. So this was an attempt to have like a darker role, more dramatic, more intense. And I have to tell you, from what I recall in that movie, because I think I looked it up to see if I could watch that before at least. That also you have to pay for. And I refuse to pay to see Tyler Perry's Alex Cross.
I am I am, like, intrigued, like, one would be intrigued to go into, like, a sideshow exhibit. Um, it's one of those things that I feel like I would go into knowing it would be bad and that I could laugh at, like, I would have a
Yeah.
really good
Yeah.
cackle. Um, eh, I know there's gonna be, like, bad wigs.
Oh God,
There's gonna
yes.
be some forced dialogue, um,
It's just not believable.
m poor
Here was my
transition.
takeaway. My takeaway from what I recall was everything in that movie was more dramatic and intense than Tyler Perry. I just felt like it was just Tyler Perry playing pretend as, and I know it's essentially what it was because that's acting, right? But I could have gotten lost with any of the other characters, but I don't know if it's because of Tyler Perry's stature and his persona, this larger than life persona as Medea that he's built his whole brand on, or if it's because he just isn't that great of a serious actor. It may be a little bit of
Well,
both.
and that might be that might be the thing, right? Like, is he an act like, I don't know. I'm not trying to judge Tyler Perry because you know what? If somebody was like, "Hey, Keenan, come be in this Tyler Perry show," you know, I would collect that check,
Yeah. I
okay?
mean, he's an
I would collect
actor.
that
Like
check.
I just don't think he thrives in film. I'd never thought Tyler
Yeah,
Perry thrives in film or TV. I feel like he thrives on stage. When he was
and, you
doing
know,
the
I do
stage character.
find I
Good.
do find that when you are a stage actor, sometimes your film and TV choices are a lot bigger than they need to be.
And what
And
bigger than what you can pull off.
and maybe not even what you can pull off, but sometimes it truly is just like when you are on stage, you are, you're projecting, you have to like everything just has to be bigger. And I feel like sometimes stage actors can bring that into a role and not always be able
Mm.
to dial it back.
More intensity in
Yeah.
the role than it would require.
'Cause I see that a lot in some other shows when I'm like, "I bet this person was a stage actor," and then I'll, like, Google them, and then they have, like, theater credits, and I'm like, "Yes, yes," like, I don't know. Like, I mean, just think of anything, like, Patty LuPone has been in, and she knows how to make it big, and she knows how to, like she knows, like,
She
"Okay,
wa
I'm on screen, but I'm still gonna be Patty."
God, I love
Um,
Patty LuPone. She has the perfect ingredients to any recipe for a character. Like, as as grandiose as she can be,
yeah,
she she still gives you just the right amount of ingredients for the recipe of that character, if that makes any sense. I think maybe I'm hungry. I don't know
yes,
why I'm latching
yes.
on to that
No, no, no,
metaphor,
I get
but
it. No, I get it, but I mean, also, like a Shirley Ralph, like think about Mrs. Howard on Abbott Elementary, like,
I feel like I had
take
that
her.
teacher. Do you feel like
Yeah.
you had a teacher like that?
Oh, yes, yes. Oh, Abbott, such a great show. Let me get back to this tab because I'm about to veer off of topic. So, let's talk about this plot a little bit, Jonah. Um, so we're asking ourselves, how does the story in the show hold up next to the movies? So tell me, Jonah, as you reflect on Kiss the Girls and Along Came a Spider. I apologize, a listener, that I have not watched those movies, but I refuse to pay. I'm sorry. I should have at least
Fair,
read the synopsis. I should have read the synopsis. I fail. I'm sorry. I apologize.
fair. And it's been a long time since I've seen, so that's my warning, my disclaimer here. It's been a really long time since I've seen them, both. I think I saw Kiss the Girls. God, I probably saw Kiss the Girls in the 90s, knowing because my dad and my mom, those
So
were the
you
kind
were
of
like
movies I grew up
5.
with. No,
Okay.
I in 1997, I feel like I was older than 5.
I
I was
was
born
in
in
junior
'88.
I was in junior high. I was in junior high being a teenager. So this is a quick synopsis if that'll help you
Okay,
in your
yes.
okay. Successful forensic psychologist Alex Cross, Morgan Freeman, discovers that his niece has gone missing. Once he consults with police detective Nick Ruskin, Carrie Elwes. Oh, Carrie Elwes. Cross
Mm,
believes that the disappearance is the work of an insane killer known as Casanova.
mhm.
Meanwhile, Dr. Kate McTiernan, Ashley Judd, is kidnapped by this criminal and witnesses many other imprisoned women in his lair. After narrowly escaping, McTiernan teams up with Cross to try to apprehend the deranged Casanova.
I did rewatch the trailers for these to kind of freshen up. Um,
Oh, that also would have been a good idea. Was the
you
bone
could have at least watched the trailer, Keenan.
I didn't even think about it. Was the bone collector part of
Do we
that
want
too?
I don't think so. The Bone Collector was Denzel Washington, but
Oh,
I
okay.
notice it does suggest it because it's the same kind of vibe. But do we wanna, like, watch the trailer for
Yeah, yeah, let me
these?
okay, I'm gonna do we wanna watch the trailer for that one first and then do the synopsis of Along Came a Spider and watch the trailer of that one, or do you wanna read the Along Came a Spider
Yeah, let's go
synopsis
ahead and
now?
watch Kiss the Girls.
Okay. Kiss the girl sorry, I could not help it.
Mhm.
Okay. Kiss the girl. Okay. Okay. So, I would like to know how old Morgan Freeman was then versus how old Aldis Hodge is now,
Mm.
because you know how my brain is, and I'm obsessed with continuity. And I'm like, is this just like kind of one timeline? Because did they mention the Casanova killer in the series?
I'm not sure if they did.
For some reason. Okay.
Well,
Oh,
so
extraordinary in some way. Okay.
the thing is, Samuel L. Jackson, like they always people always look older in the 90s for some reason.
Oh,
But
yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson specifically has always just looked, I don't want to say old, but kind of old.
What you mean Morgan Freeman?
Oh God, why do I keep doing that? I always
Just
get them mixed up.
racist. Racist.
No,
Oh my
I don't
god.
know why I did it when we were talking about it too.
Listen, you know what? You know what? This is your Nina Dobrev, Caitlin Olsen. Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
no. No, because
Yeah.
I clearly know the difference between those 2. They're
Nope,
obviously
nope,
different.
nope,
In
nope.
my head,
Yeah, mhm. Yeah. Okay.
I grew up watching them
So
both.
that was Kate that girl in the movie, the other person that he kept working with? Was that Kate? I feel like I missed everyone's name.
That's that's Ashley Judd.
Yes. So no, no. So Ashley Judd's name, that's Kate McTiernan. Or
Oh, yes. Yes, yes,
but
yes.
what I'm saying is that in the show, was the girl that worked for the feds that he kept calling for help, the lady, was her name Kate? And
I don't think so. I don't think
okay.
it's the same character if that's what you're getting at.
Okay. That's yeah, that was my
Because they
question.
were
I didn't
partners, and I think they worked on the same force or something previously. The impression I got is they all work together. And who we're referring to, listeners, is or watchers, is Alana Tao, who you might recall was Meg in the Veronica Mars series, season 2. You remember?
Meg.
Meg. She
Wait,
was the
who's Meg?
blonde who dated oh, what's his name? She dated Veronica's ex-boyfriend, Duncan, and got pregnant. She was on the school bus that crashed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But I
Mhm.
think I'm gonna guess that Morgan Freeman was like mid 40s at
Well, we can
least.
also how old was Morgan Freeman? He was 60.
What?
In 1997, Morgan Freeman is still in his absolute prime. He's a late bloomer in general. He's 60 years old here, though he's been acting since the 1960s. It wasn't until
That's too much
1987
information.
Street Smart that he had his first archivable film and worthy performance.
60 years old in 1997. He was older than my grandpa.
This thing on the little sidebar says he was 56 years old when he played Red in Shawshank.
I am bamboozled. I just I am shook. I mean, well, then he looks great for
He was born
60.
in 1937.
Ugh, I can't. Like
He's my
Morgan,
grandmother's age.
wow. It's really, I mean, when you put that into perspective, like that's impressive that he has, and he is still acting, right?
Aldous Hodge is currently 38 years old. Oh, wow.
Yeah. I don't know why I was thinking Aldous Hodge was in his early 40s. I guess because he has such a mature presence in
Yes.
the show, and But I guess that makes sense. Wow. So he was double his age.
Yeah. It fucks with my head because I want a roving time, like, I want the timeline to be a thing, but I know it's not. This is Alex Cross Earth 2. Because I'm a nerd, I can file it away that way. So this, Jonah, is a synopsis to Along Came a Spider.
Okay.
Okay. It is wait, yeah, okay, this is the right one. A psychological suspense thriller adapted from James Patterson's first highly acclaimed novel in the Alex Cross series. Morgan Freeman reprises his role as the Washington, D.C. police detective and psychologist who is through playing mind games with criminals. That is until a methodical predator, Gary Sonegi,
Sonis?
Sonej?
Gary
No,
Sonis?
not the it says Soneji,
Oh,
played by Michael Wincott, commits a daring kidnapping and lures Cross into the case.
I thought you said lured him into the cake. God, I clearly want food.
That is hilarious. I do owe him cake, everyone. There's cake
I,
that I
I
need to
like to
deliver
lure
to
him
him.
into these cakes.
But you know what? Morgan Freeman circa, Kiss the Girls, I get it.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah.
I don't know why I thought there was a 3rd movie in that series. Like, for some reason, I remember people talking about there being a 3rd movie in that series. Were there only 2?
Yeah, just the two with Morgan
Well
Freeman.
well, then maybe I'm making that up in my mind.
Should we watch the Along Came a Spider trailer?
Oh, yes, and I had it queued and everything, and then my brain said, "Goodbye." Alrighty, everybody, this is the Along Came a Spider trailer. Remember, the volume is low, and we're kind of talking because we don't want YouTube to tell us that we're violating a thing.
Mm-hmm. We're not violators. You are.
Okay.
Oh,
Sanji.
these suits.
That's what I wanted to say was Sanji. Ugh, I'm mad I second guessed it.
So he co-stars with Monica Potter in this, who is excellent.
Is Monica Potter the Kate role, or is she a different person?
You know, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what her name is. I mean, she is a law enforcement officer.
So this was the most popular book, but they made it the 2nd movie. Did this was this
It's a lot
okay.
of like detectives, like people standing around. Like, have you
Yeah.
noticed? A
But
lot
I
of
would
looking
live
at
for that
things.
trench coat though. I'm like, give me that trench coat, Alex Cross. Everybody down. Running and clips of DC and then flashes and
Yeah.
serious looks and lots of running.
I do remember these being really dark films. Like they felt really dark and twisty, and
Mhm.
like they were good movies. I really like both of these
Yeah.
movies, and I would
This
absolutely watch.
is
I would own them.
yeah.
I would buy these on DVD.
These are the things that scare me because that shit can happen. Like, people are crazy.
Mhm.
Um,
But I will
fuck.
say, as dark as those movies felt at the time when I watched them, now maybe if I watched them through a 2024 like lens, I may not feel like they are as dark and edgy. But I will say, I think the show is darker. I think
Oh,
this
yeah.
Aldis Hodge Cross series is darker for sure and much edgier because it has to be this day and age, to keep
Yes.
it, especially for a streamer show.
I will have to say that I think I actually figured out the lady at like, as they were figuring it out. You know what I mean? Um, the piano teacher, like, of course, like,
Oh,
that twist, I was like, "Oh.
yeah. I think
Oh."
at what point do you recall realizing it was her?
Um, hold on,
Because
because
I can tell you the moment that I did.
he was trying to piece it together, and there was something about the street mom that had come up, and I was like, wait a minute." And then when they showed, the Damon and in the basement, because I was at first I was like, "Why are you going in there? Y'all are hiding from a killer. Stay together." And he
Mhm,
goes into the basement to hide because they're playing hide and go seek. We're playing
mhm.
hide and go seek while we are on the run.
Right. Like, "No, we're gonna stay
No,
in the
2,
living room by the
1
fire
room,
playing
1 room, please.
Uno." Yes.
Um,
So
when she came down, I think when she was like, "What are you doing down here?" I was like, "Oh god,
oh,
no."
that's when you clocked it?
Yeah,
Okay.
no, like, I told you, like, I essentially figured it out in real time.
They did a pretty good job of, like, of hiding it, honestly, of
Yes,
concealing. Um,
yes,
I will tell you the moment that she offered, so when, is it Nana Mama?
yeah,
Played by her name's Regina. Nana Mama is what Cross calls her. It's his grandmother who raised him, played by Juanita Jennings, the lovely, talented Juanita Jennings. She felt like Nana Mama. Like she felt like someone that I've known in my life at some point. She had a very familiar presence with to her on screen. But anyway, so when she's in the hospital after
mhm.
being attacked, and we have to talk about that scene, by the way, because when she's attacked and she gets that baseball like ready, and she's like yelling at her, she's like, "Come on, motherfucker!" or whatever
Yeah,
she says.
I was like, "I hope she got some good hits," and,
Oh,
like,
you know.
I I wish when we saw him, like, with, like, something on his head
Yeah,
or,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, like, something just because, like, I needed Nana Mama to, like especially when they show her in the hospital, like, that broke
Mhm.
me because
I
I was like
know, it
when
was
because
ugh.
every time they cut to the house when he was not home and somebody was there alone, like, when the little girl ran back in to get her shoes and the guy was in the closet, I
Mm,
was like, "Why do we
yeah.
keep showing people" like, every time I see someone alone in that house, I think they're about to get got.
Yes, and this show is edgy and dark enough that it will get them. Like, no one is safe.
Ugh, not
And
a
so
single
so
person.
whenever, oh gosh, I have forgotten everyone's name at this point. What is the character's name who is her friend, who is the piano teacher? Oh my god.
Cri criminy. I'm pulling up the, IMDb for the page now because, um, I could have at least included
Well, I'm looking at all of
okay,
the characters and I'm not seeing her on this lineup for some reason, which is crazy because she ends up being a key to the plot. Like,
oh,
why
here
would
she
she?
is, she's Karen Robinson, Miss Nancy.
Okay, yes, Miss Nancy. When Miss Nancy offered while Nana Mama was in the hospital for her to take the kids and his girlfriend, Cross's girlfriend, to the cabin that she has in the
Yeah,
woods, that's when I knew that something was up with
I that's where okay, so do you know who Karen Robinson is, Jonah? Did you clock her?
she's from
Because it
Schitt's
took me
Creek.
forever. Yes. Yes, and even then, like, because I hadn't looked her up until just now, and I was scrolling, and she was on the Titan series, I think for, like, the 3rd season.
Really?
Um, yes, yes, which
Okay.
I
I love
kind
that
of
she
wish
is booked
yeah.
and blessed.
Yeah, oh,
Love
no,
that for
she
her.
has, let me see, 111 credits on IMDb. She is booked and blessed. A little bit everything on her stuff, but yeah,
She's
she
a
was
great
in
actress.
Titans, and I thought that was so fun because I remember seeing her on Titans going, "Oh my god, that's Ronnie." And so I'm like,
Yeah,
"Yes, yes, keep popping up in our
yeah.
lives,
It was a
please,
pleasant
please,
surprise, and
Karen."
honestly, when I realized that she was the key villain to that sort of background plot, because there's, like, 2 plot lines, right? And we can talk about
Yes,
this because it is interesting how they did it. It's like these parallel plot lines. You have the and I know there's a technical terminology for the way this was set up, but you have, like, what I think of as sort of the foreground plot line or plot A
yeah,
maybe, that is the serial killer who has kidnapped a young woman, and he is his whole mo, his whole premise is he is remaking these people, kidnapping these people, or making them as real life versions of infamous serial killers that he
it
admires.
was fucking wild. And that just shows you that you are not fucking safe because that shit could happen. I'm sorry, that shit could happen. Don't accept drinks from anyone. Don't let anyone pour your drink if you don't see them pour it. Like,
Don't use just anyone's hand sanitizer.
no fucking, like, you walk into a house, don't use that sanitizer, pull it from your own bag. If it did not come
Take
out of
your
your bag,
own
consider
hand
it
sanitizer.
contaminated. And fucking passwords. I don't care if I text Jonah and tell him that I'm going to meet someone. Jonah needs to respond to me with a certain word that I will not say here because y'all won't know it. So that I know that Jonah is the one on the other end and it has some not, someone hasn't fucking cloned my shit so that they can murder me.
Yeah. Wait, do we have a word set up?
Not yet. I was talking
Like,
about this
wait.
the other day.
I'm like, I don't remember the word. Did we set one?
This bitch would forget the word and I would
I would
die. This
absolutely
this
forget the
is
word.
wild.
But
Ugh.
I know, I think I know you well enough, and I think you know me well enough that we would know if it's not the other one texting. I would know because if there's not a typo in your text,
Fuck you.
if
Fuck
there's not a
you.
typo in your text, that's the killer. That's the killer talking to me.
Mhm. I
And
hope
it's
you
look,
fall out of your chair.
it's not because Keenan can't spell, folks. It's because he always says that goddamn talk to text, and Apple is out to get him.
My phone will not let me be great. It's really
Your
ridiculous,
iPhone is
and I
constantly trying to
think
sabotage you.
I honestly think it's racist. I'm just saying every iPhone is racist. You've heard it here, folks.
Oh
You heard it
god.
here. You heard it
Any-
here. Okay, let's get back to this well laid out show order that you made, Jonah,
You're welcome.
um, because the bitch will get off track. I have not prepped this one yet, but Jonah, do you want to set up this clip while I prep it?
Yeah, so speaking of plots, during a panel discussion at the American Black Film Festival, Aldis Hodge talked about the importance of telling Black stories by Black writers. And I thought it was a very interesting clip that I came across on TikTok. And it was actually really timely because we were in the process of planning this episode, and we had selected Cross as our episode, and it was almost like the universe just kind of delivered this, where he's specifically talking about the plot, and I love what he has to say about it.
Yes. And I'm so glad that he did this because I stumbled across this the other night and of course I don't know on what, but I thought it was great and poignant. So
I'm gonna be
I hope
honest.
y'all can hear it.
After I read the first 15, 20 pages, I called my team. I was like, is he a brother? They said, yeah. I said, all right. The reason I asked that is because I do not always feel safe with our stories. And I've been in this position from, just being an actor or, either being an executive or even being a writer. I've been in the position where our
He and
stories
his brother
are
have a
not always
production company,
safe
if I'm not
when they're not
mistaken.
dictated by us.
There's two of them.
We all know that we're not monolithic, but we all have a few things we just generally understand.
Right.
When you're dealing with people who don't know how to navigate the nature of our culture and honesty, then you're going to get, to me, sometimes stagnated hyperbole. You're going to get
Cliches
obviously
and
stereotypes,
yes.
tropes, things like that. They don't have to live
Mm-hmm.
with it. We have to live with
Yeah.
it. And I've had to have too many conversations where I'm like, look, our audience, first of all, our black audience represents this much of who watches our show.
Right.
Our black audience is not unintelligent.
Right.
We out here.
Yeah.
We know what's up.
Yeah.
And we have access to information instantly. We have a responsibility to feed the truth to our people. And if you don't know how to navigate that truth, I'm not going to stand here and tell your lie.
Yes. Brilliantly said, Aldis. Brilliantly said. Yeah, I think sometimes you can watch something and just know that there not one black person was in the room when they wrote a scene or just the dialogue in itself, and it gets frustrating. And it's nice to know that he was really concerned with that because, when you're telling specifically a police story and the kind of story that they had to tell with, what they were discussing in that show, because there was a huge BLM presence there, and um in the way it was depicted,
Hmm.
I'm glad that there were people there who wanted to take care of how things were done.
Yeah. I thought it was an interesting way to frame it when he said, I don't always feel safe with like our
Yeah,
stories. Like
yeah,
it's I often have wondered what it must be like for people of color to watch characters of color and not recognize and not relate to those characters because they were in a way, I guess, whitewashed from behind the
yeah.
scenes, if that
Right.
makes sense.
It's embarrassing and it's infuriating.
Because
Sometimes,
that's in
yeah,
media now. It's in media, and so that's what like everybody, like white people and beyond, who maybe don't have a lot of interactions with black people on a day-to-day basis. Now that's what they think black people are like from these really inaccurate like representations
yeah,
on screen.
yeah. Uh,
But enter shows like Cross, where I think they did a fantastic job. I mean, I feel like your input there is more relevant than mine, but like I I really love the attention that they gave to that, and making sure that they honored the fact that this was a black man, a black family, and that they didn't I love that they didn't give him a white partner. I love that Samson is black as well. And I don't know, I'm not familiar with the stories of James Patterson. I'm not like
yeah, I don't
familiar with
know.
that book. So maybe that's how it was written. I know that that character was written black because James Patterson refused to change it when it became film. But I I I like that that was how that world was set up, and that's how they stuck with that and made sure that he has people of color surrounding him. He's not
Yeah,
just one in a sea of
yeah.
white.
Well, he also made a point in the show to say that, that they stay in their neighborhood, like they are in where they grew up is where they are. And
Mhm.
so because they want to give back and be a part of that community.
Yeah.
So Yeah, I was very into that. I loved it, and um I just love hearing that man talk. Um,
Mhm.
I know that is country as hell the way I said that, but yes.
He brings the
Alrighty.
country.
I know, right? Bringing out that accent. Um, let's
What we think
see.
about these characters? Do we feel like
Uh,
they create
I
leave an impact with you?
love Samson. I love him so much. I love their friendship. I love Cross knew that he fucked up, and over the time he just kind of knew he fucked up, and he was just like, I think they were both like, oh, well, I guess the friendship's over. And everyone was like, go fucking talk to
Um,
your friends. And then they
yeah,
finally talked, and he was like, you had me a motherfucker, which was the name of the episode. I was like,
yeah, yeah, and I love there was a part of me that, like, they didn't give them, like, an overly emotional scene of reconnection either, where they had, like, this heart to heart where they both get teary eyed or whatever. That's great too. That's fine too. Love to see men being emotional, but I love that they stayed kind of true to the personas of the characters, right? Where like you have these very like super like masculine men who in a lot of ways are in touch with their emotional sides, but you also have Cross who's very like emotionally challenged, if you will, right now because of all this grief and trauma he's experienced. And
yeah,
I love that the way they did it, it was just kind of like this macho sort of like
hmm,
yeah, like we both like we're both pieces of shit or whatever for doing this, but like you're and there was kind of more of an implication that Cross is being a bigger asshole, because you know I guess he kind
yeah,
of was, but um it just it's community was such a big thread in this show
yeah,
that I just think may
family,
enriched the story.
yeah. Mm.
When he told him he wasn't family, he was
Ooh, I felt that. I felt you think you're family because my
oh,
kids call you Uncle John. Like, oh, it broke me. I was like,
I know. I think I audibly said out loud, like, damn.
uh, that like it because oh, you put your kids in it. Why you put your kids in
You
it?
could really see the hurt in Samson's
He
face.
did. He was hurt.
Oh God.
Uh, but just like and so like yeah, we knew it was gonna be a hard journey back, but he just went and talked to his friend and was like, "You had me a motherfucker." And I was like,
Hmm.
it was
Yeah.
so good. It was so
Yeah.
good.
So
So well
good.
fucking done. I two enthusiastic thumbs way the fuck up. That other character, like, of course, Nana Mama was a good time. Miss Nancy was great. Like, just
Layers.
like
Layers.
her, like, the support that she gave Nana Mama when they were, like, drinking. Do you remember that
Yes.
scene? Like,
Yes. I love that
that made
scene.
that made the turn gut punch. Like, we saw her
Knife
become
in
a
the
part
back.
of this family. She became
Hmm.
a part of that community.
Hmm. In such an organic way, not in a pushy, intrusive way, but so
Can you like,
naturally
this is it really is
diabolical.
I feel like in these shows, when you get a shortened order, sometimes there are parts of the plot that are kind of like left on the floor and like you kind of have to
Mhm.
kind of like headcanon it. This seems like if it wasn't handled well, that relationship could have gotten that way. We could have gotten her introduced as a piano teacher, seen her a couple of times, and then just have her insert herself into the story.
Yeah.
But no, they gave us scenes to make us like fall in love with Miss Nancy. Like Miss Nancy's in the group. She is a part of the unit,
Mhm. And we
you
like
know?
her. She's very endearing. She's taking care of Nana Mama. They're drinking together. Like you're happy for Nana Mama. a little
Yeah.
part of me thought that
Did you
maybe
think
they
it
would
was gonna
have.
be a thing?
Yes, a little part of me thought they were gonna like lesbian it
Okay,
up or
so
something.
first things first, when Damon was in that room and he found those pictures, I thought it was gonna be a picture of, Miss Nancy with another woman, like, him like and then go, "Oh, like, maybe we might see this," and then when she came down, I was like, "What are you doing down here?" I was like, "Oh, oh,
Mm,
damn." I was like, "Damn, Miss Nancy, no, no!"
yeah.
Um Ugh, so good. So good. Okay, so
What do we want to see in season 2, Keenan? And by the
we
way, it was picked up for a season 2 before this season even aired.
okay. Did I see something about there being a season 3, like a possible early renewal for season 3 or
Oh, I don't maybe.
I don't know. Remember I said I did the very shortest of Googles last night. So like I didn't do any deep diving. Um so Jonah, question. Was this new iteration of Alex Cross worth creating? Does it lend anything to the franchise?
Oh, I think Aldis Hodge is Alex Cross. And as far as I'm concerned, in pop culture now, when we think of Alex Cross, it's Aldous Hodge. It's not Samuel L. Jack. Oh, god damn it. Morgan Freeman. Yeah,
But yes,
I
I
think.
do agree. I do agree. I agree that Alex has made this his role. I feel like that what's his face is now Jack Reacher on I think also a Prime series maybe. Like I feel like people are saying that like he is now that guy. So
Mhm,
maybe like oh geez, are we gonna see like a Reacher Alex Cross crossover at some point in time since they're both Prime projects? I don't
mhm.
know. Well, I don't know. I'm gonna when I'm not actively watching Prime, I will be canceling that subscription and finding other ways to not give Jeff Bezos more money. Um, let oh wait, did you ask me what I wanted to see in season 2?
Yes.
What do I wanna see in season 2? Because we solved the wife murder, which
Mhm,
honestly could have stretched. That could have been a
mhm.
two-season storyline. Um, so what do I wanna see now in the 2nd season? Jeez, I don't know. I feel like we're gonna have to start from scratch. Maybe we'll see. They did name drop a couple of past cases in an episode, so
Mhm.
maybe we'll have to like have him go like backtrack because like we want to have more stakes, right? Like the family's in danger, friends are in danger. This new woman who I don't know. I mean, that is a fine man, and I'm like, girl, could you deal with serial killers coming after you?
Yeah, I mean, is he hot enough to? Because he also comes with a lot of baggage. As hot as Cross is, he comes with like a shit ton of baggage.
So much
His kids
baggage.
do too. And
Listen,
serial killers coming after you. I mean,
listen. Me and Jeannie will be arguing all the time, all the time. My child, you ask me too many questions. You, ma'am, ma'am, ma'am.
I think what we're gonna see. I think we're gonna see the plot from Kiss the Girls or Along Came a Spider in the next season.
Do you think they'll do that? Like, I feel like that would be cheating.
You think?
I feel like it, unless they want to. I don't know. I don't know. Was this in the book? Any of this stuff? Do you
I'm
know if
not
the well,
sure.
you did say you weren't familiar with those books.
Yeah, I haven't read the
I
books. I really do
wonder
wish I knew how much was liberties taken in this series and how much was so shame on us for not doing more research on that front. But I I don't know. I do think they're going. I mean, because the material's already there in the books anyway. So in a way,
Okay,
they're
so
already
it
kind
was
of
not.
cheating.
It was not. The first season of Amazon Prime Video series Cross was not directly adapted from a book. Instead, the
Oh,
series tells its own story
an
with new
original story.
characters, mysteries, and villains. Because I was going to ask you in Kiss the Girls and Along Came Spider if he ever mentioned having a wife or children.
I don't remember. I don't
Because
remember that
what
being a thing.
what could be interesting is if like say Casanova was name dropped in the first season. Now I feel like I have to go back and rewatch it to see. But if Casanova was name dropped in the first season, maybe season 2, instead of it being like a re-adapting of Kiss the Girls, it could be that person has gotten out of prison or has escaped or something, or there is a serial, like not a serial, a copycat or something to that degree. So
Yeah.
it is that story that people are familiar with because maybe hardcore fans do. Oh my god, like what do they call Patterson fans? Are they like Patterson
Patty cakes.
heads? Are they patties? I don't know. Paddy wagons? I don't know. Like,
Patty.
I
Isn't
don't
that
know.
a
I don't know.
like old school name for a police car?
Yeah, yeah.
That's funny. I wonder why they call them
Um,
that.
I don't. I
Well,
I
there
don't.
is
I
a
don't know.
reference
But
to another like book title in the series. And so
okay.
this is a perfect segue into the fun facts and trivia. Because I came across that. So Aldis Hodge is the third actor to portray Cross. We know that, following the footsteps of Morgan Freeman, who first played him on screen in 1997's Kiss the Girls and again in the 2001 movie sequel, Along Came a Spider, and Tyler Perry as the titular character in 2012's Alex Cross, which bombed at the box office
Ooh,
and
don't do
led
that.
and led Lionsgate to scrap the pre-planned sequel, Double Cross.
No
And
double cross.
I know. So in episode 2, Cross tells Sampson he smells like, quote, mothballs and Old Spice. In real life, Isaiah Mustafa featured in the great Old Spice as, quote, the man your man could smell like.
It made me laugh so hard when he said that. I love shit like that. It just made me
Yeah.
cackle.
You know what I'm ashamed of? I didn't clock it in the moment
I
until I
loved it.
came across this trivia. I was like, damn it. How did I not catch that? I would have been so much better if I had realized it in the moment. But I'm glad
I
that
had
you
a
got to
good
enjoy
chuckle.
it.
I had a good laugh out of that.
Um, so similar to the Alex Cross feature film, Cross was greenlit for a second season ahead of its November 14th series premiere. However, Patterson has every confidence this time in the success of the TV series, crediting Aldis Hodge for the depth he brings to the lead role. In conversation with the Hollywood Reporter, Patterson talks about creating Alex Cross more than 30 years ago, refusing to whitewash him, and why this character is still ripe for reimagining. He stands by his character as a black man, and I think that's
Good job, James
bravo.
P.
Yeah. Um, so the series makes multiple references to titles of books from the Alex Cross series. In one episode, Cross receives a note that says, "Kill Alex Cross." This is the title of the 18th book in the series.
Hmm.
Also, the song What a Wonderful World features prominently, particularly the line, quote, Red Roses Too. Roses Are Red is the title of the 6th book in the series. So another little Easter egg there. And in one episode, the camera zooms in and lingers on a spider sitting on a web, which I did remember. I did
Mhm.
notice
That
that.
was when the little boy was in the basement, when Damon
Mhm.
went to the basement. Yeah.
The first book in the series is Along Came a Spider. The title of this series takes its name from Cross, which is the 12th book in the series. So
Okay.
really cool how like it just gives a call out to all these different Patterson books. And I
Yeah.
wonder if they did that as a head nod of respect to James Patterson because they didn't use one of his stories as
Yeah,
the
I
plotline.
would say so. Like, yeah, if you're gonna make completely original stuff, then why not just give like nods throughout the show to the
Mhm.
creator, just as be like, hey, this is an homage
Yeah.
to the work. Okay. So this is my new favorite thing. So what do we rate it? So
Should
we
we
have
tell
a
them what? Okay, sorry, you were gonna do it.
okay, yes, yes. We have a 5-point scale ranging
Mhm.
from not great to yes, we loved it. And here are the ratings. So the first one is what the fuck were they thinking? The second is the mortgage was due. Like somebody
Somebody
had
just
some
trying to get
bills to
paid.
pay. So they're like, we finna get this check real fast. Nostalgia blanket, like, it just made me feel kind of warm and cozy. Um,
Mhm.
it was a good time. Like, it wasn't the best thing in the world, but you had a good time.
Mhm.
And then 100% would watch again because I don't know about you, but I don't rewatch a lot of things. Like,
Yeah,
I would have
same.
to say one of my most rewatched movies is Bridesmaids, and that truly is a perfect movie.
Mhm.
Sorry, I'm
It's a
just saying.
master class in comedy.
Yeah, yeah, I could watch Bridesmaids over and over and over and over and over again. It's just so good, so good, so
So
good.
what
Ooh,
rating
okay.
would you give this?
I okay, so I don't as much as I like kind of want to go back and rewatch it for certain things. I'm not going to give it a 100% would watch again because I just don't. It I don't know if I'll rewatch that series, but it was definitely a good fucking time. Like,
Mm.
I would say it is as close to one would watch again without giving it would watch again.
Okay, that's fair. I feel you. So in between, it's a good time and would watch again.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm with you. I am that way as well. I don't rewatch a lot of stuff. I have like a handful of things that I do enjoy rewatching. Obviously, Buffy being one of those.
Yes.
Um, but and I especially don't normally rewatch crime procedurals. And I think that's what I really loved about this show is it didn't necessarily feel like a typical crime procedural. You didn't feel like you were watching a SVU or
Yeah.
um like a CSI or whatever. And it felt like it had the show itself had more character and then more layers
Yeah.
than a lot of the crime procedurals do that we've seen
Yeah.
over the past decade. So it was easier for me to watch because of that. And
Yeah.
I think I would watch it again. I think I would, especially if there's a distance before the next season because sometimes they make us wait like 2 years for a new season.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say like I would definitely have to give myself some space in between watching. Like I'm not gonna turn around and watch it again
Yeah,
next.
right. Same. There are moments that I would absolutely rewatch again. Like if it pops up as a clip somewhere, like the scene, the 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 scene in the first episode when they're having trouble getting information in the interrogation room at the precinct from the white supremacists.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Oh, that was
and
great. That was
and
great.
they bring in Alex Cross, and he's already figured out the issue. Like he's already got this guy, like he's got his number, right? And he's the only one, and he's the only one who he could break him. And so they know this, they let him come in and do his thing. And there's a moment where, the guy's being all like schmuck. I I think I gasped at some of the things this guy like was saying. I don't know why. I guess for it to be positioned right at the very top of the series, like right out of the gate, for them to depict this like white supremacist who is blatantly like saying racist shit right into the face of like unapologetically to the face of these black characters. I was just like, I don't know why it like threw me off, but I was like, damn, they are really like, going in with it. And when he
Yeah, those people
says
exist.
when he talks about um them being it's biology that white people are better than black people or whatever. And Alex says so casually with his arms crossed, then why is my dick bigger than yours?
That's not okay. He said, "So my dick is bigger than yours," because basically what the guy is saying is that we're smarter because like that they're smarter because they're white. And he's like, "Oh, it's simple biology, right?" And he's like, "Yeah,
Hmm.
like my dick is bigger than yours."
Yeah,
And it just like
yeah. I
fucked his brain up. And it shows you just how weak those little people are. You
Mhm.
start questioning the size of their dick, and then they fucking lose their shit because they are all small dick little assholes.
Yep,
Sorry.
yep. And they know it. So, and the fact that he could unravel him so easily with that one line, and it's just
Yeah.
so the delivery from Aldis Hodge, like it was
Right.
just so satisfying to watch. And I love that that's one
Right.
of the opening scenes. I feel like that will be iconic. Um,
I do feel like we only like briefly touched on the actual serial killer, and I have to say that I was not as interested in that storyline, especially after they like unalive the lady in the hotel. Um, I was glad that they showed us who it was by the
Early
end of
on,
season 2. Yes, because when you meet
episode two.
him in episode 1, I was like, "So clearly he's a serial killer."
Mhm.
And and then they showed us and I was like, "Thank God they showed us this because I would have been
Well,
so mad if I had to know this." Like, if they had, like, if they had kept us guessing, but I was like, he was
yeah.
very clearly the guy.
Well, I think I felt like I knew it even before I started watching the first episode because they show that exchange with him at the party in the trailer. And so in my
Oh,
head, I'm like, okay, that's gonna be the big bad of the season
okay,
because
okay.
he just kind of had that air about him. Um, so I wasn't surprised at all. But I think that actor did a fantastic job. Ryan Eggold, who played Ed Ramsey. I also think the actress Eloise Mumford, who plays Shannon Whitmer, who was the woman
So
who was
good,
kidnapped, like she really there was a
so good.
range
Let's talk
there.
about let's talk about this for a second. Let's talk about this for a second because when she got out and she sliced him and then she continued, I was like, "No, he's down. You have something sharp.
Mhm.
Keep stabbing him.
Yeah, yeah.
Why are you no? At least like be waiting on the floor and fucking like Chucky
Hmm.
him and take out those Achilles tendons. He can't come after you."
Chucky.
Oh, he Chucky did that in the first movie.
Right, I
The
remember.
doctor. Yeah, like, he was waiting under the fucking table and fucking scalpel to oh god, it just makes my, like,
I
ooh!
know, right? I wonder what that feels
Uh,
like.
no, you don't wanna wonder that at all. When they're on trial in season 2 of Interview with the Vampire, they do that. They cut their Achilles tendon so they can't run.
Right, right. Yeah, it's kind of
Like,
wild.
okay,
Yeah, okay, so well then that brings up what was the decisions happening in the first couple of episodes that made you have to
when the
pause and take a break?
girl when the girl took the phone and then did not get out of the city. Like, I was like, first of all, this is dumb.
Mhm.
Okay, they're gonna trace the phone. And then she went to a hotel in the city, and then like show her come back after like buying food. And I was like, she fucking left the hotel. I was so frustrated the whole time with that whole exchange. It was like, you let her leave with this phone. I guess that was her sister. Like, you let her go somewhere with this phone.
Mhm.
Now you're responsible for her child. Like, then she calls this reporter, and the reporter tells her to wait. There's no way in hell any reporter with the way they've already led her, like they portrayed her already as this like, I got to get this story that
Mhm.
she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna come tomorrow morning." No, she should have been there. I feel like it would have been a better scene if this all happened on a train.
Oh, interesting. Why?
So she's in DC, which means she can get any fucking where. If she is trying to meet this reporter, say that same reporter's like, I'm in like New York, I'm sending you a ticket, go get on the train and come meet me. And then have that Bobby like track her to the train. And so it's him going through the train looking for her and like them tracking the phone to the train station and trying to like chase Bobby. Well, find her on the train while Bobby is also finding her, and it's us trying to hoping that he gets to her before Bobby does, because everything else just felt ridiculous to me.
Yeah, that particular that was bad choices. I actually forgot about her, and it was so
That
disappointing.
whole storyline made me mad.
It was just
It
very
made me
upsetting.
mad, especially then we see him like now. I would not mind if they showed more scenes of Bobby jumping up and down with no clothes on and his thong.
Mhm.
Um,
Mm. Like, you
sure.
don't wanna be attracted to him because he's such a piece of shit,
Is
but
it me or
he's
did his accent get thicker as the show went on? I don't feel like it was super strong when you first hear him talk, but as like the show keeps going, his like I'm not even gonna say coon ass. It's just like it's just like I'm
Mhm.
from not like New Orleans, but kind of like a Baton Rouge kind of thing. Like I don't know. I feel like his accent just got thicker and thicker as the show went on.
Yeah,
But I don't know where that version's from.
maybe. I wonder if the turning point at that was when he had that exchange with the deli owner about getting his sandwich right or something, and
Yeah,
it's a New Orleans style.
it definitely I'm
Oh
straight from the
boy.
bottoms. I'm just from the
Right.
straight from the bottoms. Like, what?
Yeah,
This
Bobby Trey. Can we
motherfucker
just
was
talk about how fucking crazy Bobby Trey was? He was chillingly crazy. Like, he really scared me more than the serial killer. But I was also sexually attracted to him. What does that say about me?
like I could fix him.
No. Oh
Yeah,
god.
no, Bobby was Bobby was
I want to see more of Bobby, and I think we will see more of him.
yeah, next season. So I found it very interesting. They are going to put all of that on him, but then he's gonna
Mm.
get immunity.
Hmm.
Like, how the fuck does that work? And then she's like, "Oh, do you want to make some money?" So I'm like, what is she about to have him do? And do we think that the chief was in that secret society? Do we think the chief knew what was going on and just was the only person that didn't get caught?
No, I think they made it clear, or to me, it seemed clear at the end that that's what they were pointing to. They wanted you as a viewer to think that she was the one who was dirty, but it really ended up being the
No, I mean, I even still, like, not just like I guess the captain or whatever, but I mean, like, because when they were escorting him out, he winked at her.
I didn't catch that.
He winked at her. And she was at his house for that party fishing for donations. But we never saw like you saw, I believe his butler had a tattoo of whatever that was on the book. And I don't know if that is supposed to be something deeper. Like, is this tattoo, like, is there a society of people who are covering for serial killers?
Hmm.
Like, is maybe that's what season 2 is gonna explore. Like, what is this tattoo? What was that symbol on the book?
Yeah. I don't know. I guess it's possible that she could be. Because they do, I mean, they did leave it to where they kind of want you to think that she's not now. So maybe that's what they want. And so that it will be a bit of a shock when it's revealed that she is. But even still, I don't think it would be a shock to me if so that, which makes me think that she's not. That's
I
why I think,
could not stand her.
yeah, she was she was the worst. I low key felt like she was racist.
Uh-oh. You think? You think?
Keenan's like, I high key thought she was racist.
Like, bitch was fucking racist.
Oh, how about when the lieutenant, when it was revealed that she was the one who sent out the video of Cross beating up the guy, and that she was being like working with the serial killer, at least at the beck and call of him.
And I'm like, at what point did he get to her? Like, the amount of people he got into, like, I thought he had gotten to the guard before like, that was outside of Shannon's room.
Oh, yeah.
Right before, oh my god, how fucking frightening was that? I was like,
Like when
"Damn,
he's
she got away, and mama is on the other side of the fucking," like,
and that's what's terrifying because like, oh my god, is he gonna kill her mom and right in front of her? Like, but
you can
when
see her eyes, like,
yeah,
"Oh my
this because this bitch fought. She fought for
when
her
she
life.
said, "I gotta be perfect, right?" Lice right on her
Mhm.
face.
Just open that cheek right up.
And fuck that, not dermatologist, that plastic surgeon. Fuck her. Fuck her.
Yeah. Oh, that crazy bitch. Oh god. Like she was
I
so
idolize him.
that crazy
And
bitch.
also, Cross, you don't get enough of going places by yourself without telling people. And
Like, let your partner know. That's why he's your partner.
and and the fact that they feel the need to, like, show their hand to the killer speaks a lot to, like, I don't like the pathology of, like, these detectives, these police officers who are like, "I'm gonna get you, and hey, I got this thing on you. Ha 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 ha. Your witness is gone. Bye."
It's just yeah, he really did kick their ass the whole way through this
And
series.
and if Aldous didn't like, if Alex didn't, like, verbally spar with him at that birthday party, they coulda got him.
Mm. So you think that's what turned the tables for them?
Because Aldous ramped up things, and then he
Mhm,
had that video release, and it just immediately discredited him.
mhm. Yeah, he really did show his hand
Because
then.
you you don't know what other people know. So don't give him the upper hand. Like, don't let him I don't know. I don't know. It just seems weird to me. It's a trope. It's a trope that you see in these kinds of things where they're
Mhm.
like,
Yeah,
I gotta let him know that I'm gonna get him.
right.
I got it. I got the evidence,
Yeah,
and it's like, hey, how about we just not tell them everything, and then you show up at something super embarrassing to arrest them with.
yeah. Yeah, that would it probably wouldn't have been as interesting, but it would have certainly been easier for him.
Ooh, I don't know. I love a public display arrest. Like I'm in the middle of giving a speech. Those are the most fun arrests on SVU. When someone's in the middle of doing
Mm,
something very, very like public, and then
yeah,
they're like, "We here to take you out for insert sex crime that they're covering on that episode of SVU." But yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I'm sorry, especially when they're like rich, powerful people, and then Mariska gets to come in and give them a little sassy, "We're taking you downtown," and she flips her hair. I don't think she ever really does that, but it's fun to imagine that Mariska's doing all kinds of hair tossing.
I
Okay,
love
yes. Okay, that was kind of all over the place, but at the end of the day, I fucking love the show. I think it was a great time with a little bit of, time in between. I would definitely, rewatch it. But like I said, they're definitely maybe like I'll watch the last 3 or 4 episodes before, the
that.
next season
Those are
starts.
definitely the
But
more fun. The last
yeah,
couple episodes
I
are like
definitely
the
do not wanna have to, like, watch that lady get unalived and then him have to tell her child in the next episode that he's a superhero and to be strong. I was like,
yeah.
"Fuck
Oh, that
that!"
scene, Keenan. Oh my God, the emotional turmoil of watching that, and that was really one of those scenes where I was like, God, Aldis Hodge is truly one of the greatest actors of our
Mhm.
decade, of this decade, because of just the simple intricacy, if that makes any sense, of that scene of him having to, he was so brokenhearted, having to tell this kid that
Which
his mom,
which I
in
was
so many
like,
words.
"These folks already don't want you around the house. You that was none of your business." That was part of his hero complex. That is
Mhm.
his tragic flaw as a hero is that he has to be, which he says all the time, "I'm the protector."
Yeah.
Um, that was starting to get on my fucking nerves. Um, uh, th- no, he had no business. I understood what he was doing because he was trying to get on that tablet. I was like, I know what you're doing. Don't make it
Yeah.
right, but I know what you're doing.
Yeah. And I don't think I realized that until after he got back in the truck. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's
Because
right. That's what they were
in
doing.
in the previous scene, or another scene at some point in time when she was like frustrated with him, she said like that's your mom's iPad, so she'll have to do that, or
Mhm.
something like that, where she indicated that it was the mom's
Right.
iPad.
They went out
And
of the way to show that.
yeah,
Yeah.
and um, that's how they was getting Britney. They was those security people, they were, like, tracking Britney Spears, like,
Mhm.
her iPad was signed in so they could get all of her iMessages on the
Yeah.
iPad.
Which is so gross.
Yeah,
Just
yeah. So, I'm like but then I was like, "Wait a minute, he just sent that to himself. Couldn't she have sent that to the damn reporter
that's what I thought she was gonna
and
be
then
doing.
turn the fucking phone in?" Like, that whole thing didn't have to happen. It didn't have to happen. That's where cell phones really do, like, fuck up stories
Mhm.
now because so much doesn't have to happen because send a text.
Yeah.
Like pre-text when cell phones were a thing, but no one was sending text messages. And so there's like the killers coming to the house and you're trying to call the person. So yeah, we see the phone is silent. Okay, yeah. We were able to get by with that for like 4 years. Okay. Now send a fucking text
Yeah.
because they're gonna look down and see the preview and be like, killer X is killer.
Yeah,
Which I think
technology is really like
yes.
kind of
Yeah.
jeopardize interesting plot lines. It's made them have to be more creative with
You
how they.
have to be more creative. Like, on spoilers for this most do you watch Only Murders in the Building?
Yes, and I haven't seen the most recent season.
Okay. Well, then never mind. What I was about to say was just like a very simple example of
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
But like
Okay.
this is kind of how you write around it.
I'll watch for it when I watch
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
season.
Um
Speaking of
yeah.
watching things,
Girl, what you watching?
So Jonah, what you watching?
well, currently, so I've stumbled upon this show on Prime. It's in its second season called The Devil's Hour. It's a bit tricky to kind of explain without me reading the synopsis. So let me just pull that up real quick.
Oh
Um
God.
so The Devil's Hour, I feel like the title kind of misleads a little bit, but essentially, this IMDb plot description is just so bare minimum. A woman who wakes up every night at exactly 3:33 a.m. in the middle of the so-called devil's hour between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. That's all it says. There's so much more. There's so much more to that. Where is there a better description somewhere? Let me see what Rotten Tomatoes says. They usually are pretty decent with their descriptions. Oh wow. This show. Oh, speaking of Rotten Tomatoes, let's circle back because I do think it's cool to note that Rotten Tomatoes for the Cross series, the tomato meter is 75%, which is the critic score, or formerly known as the critic score. Popcorn meter, which used to be the average audience score, is 67%. And I'm kind of surprised that it's lower than the critic score. I expect that to grow substantially in the coming months.
Should should we like have an account as a podcast and rate things, like contribute to the ratings?
Yeah, I
And
mean, why
then just
not?
like whatever, and then like whatever our rating is, like that we could put that as like the the comment. Can you imagine leaving a comment on
That
like
would be
Rotten
so
Tomatoes saying,
funny.
I guess someone's mortgage was due?
Yeah, I actually love that. I love that so much. Okay, so I struggled to find a more meaty plot line because that one sentence was everywhere that this show is listed for some reason. So I just Googled the Devil's Hour plot, and this Google AI overview gave me so much more than those others. So the plot of The Devil's Hour is about a social worker named Lucy Chambers who wakes up every night at 3:33 a.m. during the Devil's Hour and experiences terrifying visions. So some of the visions, like Lucy's house is haunted by echoes of a life that isn't her own. Her mother speaks to empty chairs. Her son Isaac is withdrawn and emotionless. She experiences all this deja vu. Her name is connected to a series of brutal murders in the area, and she's drawn into the hunt for a serial killer. And so the series also involves a manhunt for a murderer who has killed two people in the last few days. The manhunt and the hunt for Lucy become connected, and Lucy and Dr. Dylan eventually track down Gideon. Dylan is the like DI Dylan. He's the detective, because this is set in England, so it's in a British series, and I know that you enjoy those. Um,
I do.
let's see. Some say that The Devil's Hour is a serial killer thriller, ghostly horror, child abduction mystery, love story, gangland crime tale, and family drama, all wrapped up in Nietzschean philosophy. What is Nietzschean?
Nietzsche, like Nietzsche.
Nietzsche. No, I'm not familiar with that
What is
term. Yeah, so there's a very complex plot. It is one of those kind of shows you gotta watch every episode. and you really have to pay attention because the number of times I've had to rewind this bitch because I missed something. Like it's you got to give it that attention to really. But it's interesting. It's very interesting. It's like kind of parallel lives, or like different lives, reliving different lives. Are It almost feels kind of like time travel, but not quite. And it's what you think is happening isn't happening.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's very interesting. I'm in the middle of the second season now, and I that's what I'm enjoying. What about you?
Sometimes. Just a sidebar. So because I didn't want to like fuck it up. Nietzsche is it's like a philosophy type, so it contemplates the meaning of values and their significance to human existence, which is just a very like one line thing, but it's a type of philosophy.
Hmm.
Friedrich Nietzsche. Nietzsche. I might be mispronouncing it, but yes. I'm gonna hit I'm gonna mention 3 shows, but I'm gonna talk about 1. So, of course, like, the last season of Superman and Lois is just wrapped up. It was so good. Elizabeth Tulloch is just such a great Lois Lane. I love her, and I can't wait to see what her next project is. Tyler Eklund will forever be probably one of the best Clark Kents. He was really great in that role. I love that show. And that show that I was telling you about, it's called Joan. It's a British crime drama with Sophie Taylor. Is that her name?
Right.
Turner. Sophie Turner. So good. The costumes, the makeup. I'm like, this is brilliant, and they just did such a great job. I think they're going to get a second season. Sophie is living, but
I watched the
what
first couple of episodes of that. It was pretty interesting.
yeah, I was like, because she's so like she's grown and like I don't know, like in it, she's just so 80s. Like
Mm,
everything about it is 80s in a way that I just haven't seen anything be so 80s in a long time. And
mhm.
it's just great. Like the fashion is everything. But what has been giving me cackles and tears, like there's just like a little bit of heart at the end of the episodes is Saint Denis Medical. It's on Peacock. It is it follows an underfunded, understaffed hospital where the doctors and nurses try their best to treat patients while maintaining their own sanity. One of the actors, so there's several people from Superstore in there. Um, oh my God, Sandra, the Hawaiian lady, is in there. The mom from Goldberg's is
Oh,
in
I
this series.
love her.
The guy who played the pharmacist in Superstore,
Okay.
he's in it. And oh my God, David fucking Alan Greer is in this show as one of the doctors, and it is just. I was like, this is the ridiculous hospital drama that Jonah and I always talked about writing. Like it because like documentary style thing. So the mom who
Okay, so it's a
so it's a
mockumentary
mockumentary,
format.
yeah.
Okay, I was gonna
And
ask you that.
the lady who was the mom in Goldberg's is like I guess like the chief medical person. So she's constantly
Of
like walking
course
around
she is.
schmoozing and just being like and who was the other lady? Allison Tomlin. What would I know her like, Allison Tomlin, so she's kind of like one of the main POV characters.
If it's the
Who
one that I saw in the preview, it's she had a one or two episode appearance on what's it called? Was it Good Girls on NBC with
oh,
with Retta and
She's been in a lot of shit. She's some English anime voiceover work.
Is she British?
I don't think
Oh, wait,
so.
when you said English,
Oh, no, no,
that,
no,
like,
like, she,
actual
like,
English.
the dub. Yeah, she dubbed. Yeah, I see a couple of things on here that I recognize, but I don't she was in Good Girls. She's in 10 episodes of Good Girls as Mary Pat.
And what's this called? St.
St.
Dennis?
Denis Medical. It's hilarious. On the last on the last episode, David Allen Greer was frustrated with someone who parked very close to him, so he left a note, and it turned out to be one of the nurses, and so she was walking around talking showing the note to everyone, and they were talking about how only a psychopath would do that, and so then he was like, "I wrote the note," and then they go through it. He's just like this crotchety old doctor man, but there's heart there. I'm horrible at describing stuff like this, but I enjoy it. I think it's very funny. It has a lot of heart, and it's just like it's a good time. It's a good watch, and it's one of those shows like Superstore that I've watched multiple times. Like within a year, I think I've watched Superstore twice all the way
Oh.
through. I enjoy Superstore. I think it's very funny. I think this is on verge of being that because
Mm.
the whole cast is great. The whole cast is great. Like everyone fits the little like niche that they have to fit. And even the guy who played Mateo was in the last episode as a nurse, so he could show up on other episodes.
Wait, so is this by the same creator of Superstore?
Oh, I don't know who created Superstore.
Well, let's look it up. Who created Superstore? Justin Spitzer, who his other credit, yes, he is best known for creating the
program
sitcoms
creator.
Superstore, American Auto.
Which was really good. I don't know if it was canceled or not, but I really enjoy American Auto. Justin Spitzer is was Justin Spitzer one of the creators of Zoe's?
I don't recall. It says his other credits include Scrubs, Courting Alex, and The Office.
Okay, maybe not. Oh, that's fun. Okay.
Yeah, well, I'll keep that in mind. I might have to give that a watch for some lighter content.
Yeah, I think it's a great one. It is a great one. So you all, thanks for listening to the Rewind podcast. Before we go, please take a moment to show some love for your favorite podcast by leaving us a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen. We're tiny fish in a big pond, so every positive review, and rating and subscriber counts.
You can
Jonah, tell them how
connect
to
with us
find
on the socials as well. You can find us on Facebook at The Rewind Podcast 1 or search The Rewind Podcast on Twitter at The Rewind _pod, Instagram at The Rewind Podcast, and TikTok at The Rewind Podcast.
And sidebar, this is news to Jonah. We will be deleting that Twitter account soon because we're trying to move up off Elon's app. But you can find the rewind on oh my god, Blue Sky at the Rewind Podcast.bsky.social.
Oh, so we were able to snatch the Rewind Podcast.
Yes,
handle.
baby.
Well, even
So
better.
you can come follow us on there. Yes. So Jonah, we're on Blue Sky.
Good to know. Well, we'd love to hear from you. You can email us at the Rewind Podcast 1 at gmail.com.
And you can follow me also on Blue Sky at Keeks on Camera and on Instagram at Keeks on Camera. But the O in on is a 0. So Keeks 0 in camera.
Yeah. I think I'm just realizing that now.
Yeah, it's annoying. It's annoying. Um, but I'm
I
there.
am actually off of socials for the most part. At this point, I especially post election, I had to get away. I've been wanting to get away desperately for years now, but because of the nature of my day job being marketing, it's really hard to do that when you're responsible for overseeing a company's brand and thus their social media. But I said, well, I can still control my own like social media intake on my personal time, and I did. And so it just felt a little bit for me like taking my power back from social media, which sounds so lame to say, but I don't know. I just felt like I was um trapped by it in a way, and I just needed a cleanse. And so the only thing that I am on now is TikTok, and that's at the cult pop, because the sort of branded account that I run there is called Culture Pop, and it's a lot of like pop culture related content, like clips of interviews with celebrities and uh, reviews of shows and film and just random kind of, fun creative stuff I like to just throw in there and have fun with from time to time. And um, so that's really where I'm dedicating my energy as far as social goes right now. But I will be accessing social to a degree through our podcast channels. But yeah, TikTok's the only one for me right now.
Well, everyone, thank you for your time, and I hope you tune back. I don't have the episode list in front of me. Jonah, do you want to give them the rest of the shows that we'll be talking about this season?
Ooh, yes, that's a good idea. Okay, so just a little sneak peek of what's to come. This is the season of reboots, remakes, and requels. Oh my. That's some of those upcoming episodes are going to be focused on some newbies and probably a lot of old like favorites or maybe ones you've been curious about. For instance, the next episode will be Beetlejuice. We are doing a comparison to the original Beetlejuice and Beetlejuice movie that recently came out. I haven't seen it yet. Keenan has, and he has good things to say about it. So I'm gonna watch it and see if I too have good things to say about it. Um, we're also doing episode focused on Charmed, Charlie's Angels, Nosferatu. How do you say that, Kenan?
Nosferatu.
Nosferatu. Okay, I almost had it. Sabrina the Teenage Witch and the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. The Hannibal movies versus the Hannibal series. Interview with the Vampire, the movie versus the TV series. The Hellraiser
Pause on which one
movies.
is winning.
Right. And then the Scream TV series.
Yeah, that sounds like a good time. And so I think there's just a little bit there for everyone. We're going to try and record. This is not going to mean anything to y'all because you'll get them in order, but we're going to uh, film, record whatever, a few of these in advance and then start pushing them out. So, there won't be any gaps like there used to be where we'd be like, oops, we haven't posted an episode in over a month. So
I love how we
let's
just
record that.
just glossed right over the fact that we practically had a 2-year hiatus before our season 4.
Life fucking happened. And then we
Life
both
happened
got new
so
jobs and
hard.
you moved and everything has just been crazy. And
I
I know I
lost my
haven't,
job since that time. So I lost a
yeah,
job. I lost a sister. Um,
yeah.
it was a very rough time. Went through a very long depression. Got COVID for I think the first time, at least the first time I've ever tested positive for it. That kicked my fucking ass. Yeah, and it's just been, an uphill battle since. But I'm actually really excited that we're back at it. I think I told Keenan multiple times we have to start recording at some point because I need purpose in my life. And while that may sound really pathetic to some people, I think like I like to think that like anytime nerds get together like this, that there's a like a nerd god somewhere just smiling down upon us. I always enjoy having conversations like we have on this podcast with people who are like-minded and have like similar interests and TV and film and stuff like that. And it's not shameful to be addicted to TV, addicted to movies. I think it can be a fun ride, and that's the world we live in now. And so I enjoy us coming on here and talking about like all the TV and film that we watch, whether we like it or not. So it's definitely a highlight for me, and I'm glad we're back at it.
Yes, it's good to be back, and we will be seeing y'all very soon. Jonah, what did you say the next one was going to be?
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice and Beetlejuice. Will there be a Beetlejuice? We don't know yet, but we'll talk about it next week. So everyone, be kind.
And please rewind.
Goodbye.
Just be kind and listen to the rewind.